All right, let's do Star Wars film ranking.
Okay.
We got S through D. Okay.
And
Hold on.
yeah,
Let's double down on this. We'll do original trilogy, the prequel, and then whatever we want to call the last set of trilogies.
Well, I mean, I see Solo and Rogue One in here as well.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about those.
So
Although
you
I
want to do
should
them in
have.
that order? We could set them up in that order first. Okay.
we can do whatever order y'all want.
A Ridge Tridge.
All right, so you want to start with the original trilogy?
Where do you put A New Hope?
All right. So the original film that started it all. Should we set a rule that there can only be one S tier, or can S tier be as
Uh,
much as you want?
let's do
You have two S tiers.
yeah, or at least an S tier from from each trilogy if there's going to be one.
All right, and then the other rule has to be the final ranking is an average of what we believe. If we all agree, great. If we don't, we have to average it.
Okay. A New Hope. Eric.
You A New Hope is great. Um, I remember watching it as a kid and thinking like this is awesome. However, I will have to say I'm gonna sound like Anakin. I don't like deserts and I don't like desert scenes. I don't like deserts in video games. So when
And the first third of this movie is in the desert.
yeah, so I'm just like, holy shit, can we get past this? But once you get past that, phenomenal movie. Um, yeah, I'll save my list. I think it's a solid A tier movie though.
Okay. All right. Eric says A. Dan.
I put it in A as well.
And I also believe that it's an A tier movie.
Because I believe Empire Strikes Back is S tier.
So we're going to jump right into that. Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean we might as well move on
It's
to
the
the
next
next one.
movie, and all three of us already spoke about the previous one.
I didn't say anything about the original. I just said I believe it was A tier,
You
but I
said
didn't.
you said you also agreed it was an A.
I didn't go into any detail though. Now,
Did you want to go into?
is Empire the best movie? Period.
Could be. It's not mine.
I Oh man. Um, you know what? I have to kind of say maybe because there's another movie that I feel probably deserves this spot. However, I think it's just because it did so well fitting everything else in. I
Okay.
guess we'll talk about it when it gets there.
Okay.
But I think if that you know what, no, I would have to say this is probably the best movie because the movie I also want to bring up doesn't have to exist.
I think I know where you're. I
And
think I know
or
where
for
you're
the
going
trilogy.
with it. We'll get there.
What happens
Okay.
in that movie already has happened canonically in the series
So,
before it existed.
how about Return of the Jedi? Where do we put Return of the Jedi?
There's people that think it's their favorite. There are people who it's their favorite of the original trilogy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
For me, it's the bottom of the original trilogy. I'd put it at a B,
But
but what do you guys?
Yeah, I'll go last for this one.
okay, Return of the Jedi is also an A tier movie for me. Um, there are so how Return of the Jedi works for me is that it has my favorite moments in all of Star Wars, specifically the final battle, the space battle specifically, and the final confrontation with Luke and Vader's redemption, and Palpatine's death, because it's done really well And but in order to get there, we have to do the Jabba's Palace thing, which is fun, but it's a return to the desert. And we have to go through the Ewok segment, which can be fun, but can be a little grating at times too. So that stuff prevents Jedi from being S tier, but what's so good about Jedi prevents it from being B tier for me. So it's A tier.
See, I put it B because I think it's definitely not. I just think that New Hope is that much better that it belongs a tier below.
I have to remember that I'm ranking it based off of Star Wars movies and not like all movies in general, or else I will feel bad saying this. But I agree with Dan that it is B tier, and hear me out, right? Because there are a bunch of memorable scenes in there, but it doesn't make it better than the first two, well, the original two. And it's just like in Dragon Ball Z, there are a lot of memorable moments in the Buu saga, but I can't say that Buu saga is my favorite saga. You know what I mean?
Buu saga is my least favorite saga of the three in Dragon Ball Z.
But it's got fusion, it's got Super Saiyan 3, it's got like all these great memorable things that happen, and I'm just like, man, like I say it and I feel like it's overloaded with these things, and it's true, but it's like not great.
So real quick, Android Saga top.
Yes. Cell Saga is the best.
I disagree.
You think Frieza Saga is the best?
You want my honest opinion?
You only have 3 choices.
It's yeah, I think
Frieza.
I think my favorite saga is the Saiyan saga. And it should have ended after Frieza, and I appreciated Cell, and then I was like, okay, I like the Buu saga. Like I can't say no. Like if you're gonna throw Dragon Ball at me, I'm gonna enjoy every saga.
We can do a Dragon Ball tier if you want after this.
You know, like I guess we can. Let's continue on before we get sidetracked.
But anyway, Star Wars.
So it's a 2 against 1 vote. So Jedi has to be B tier. So we can't go anywhere else with it. It was a 2 against 1.
All right, prequels.
All right, Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace. So here's the thing. I'll start with this one. There was a time. Excuse me. There was a time when Phantom Menace would have gone on the bottom of the list easy. Even though I don't hate it, I'm gonna say what Eric just said. We're talking about comparing to other Star Wars movies, not other movies in general. I like it as a movie. I dislike it compared to the other movies.
It's the movie I've seen in the theaters the second most.
Yeah. I can't... I've heard a lot of the arguments that Attack of the Clones is worse. I've watched them back to back. I can't really agree with that one. I'm sorry. Hi, Choppy Girl. Yes, guess who? We know who you are. We'll do a tier that you can help participate in if you want. We're being nerdy and talking Star Wars. I also picked this one first.
Do a tier list of colonization countries.
Oh my god. You're just gonna rip on Britain, aren't you?
No.
Who are the Britons?
So the other thing we're gonna do is once it goes in a tier, we have to place it around other movies. So
unfortunately, I think this one is a new tier, and it's C.
I'm gonna also. Well, that's where I was going with this. There was a time when I would have called it D tier, but now I call it C tier because I've seen other Star Wars movies. So, Episode 1, I believe, is a C tier movie.
Yep, agreed.
Okay,
agreed.
That was easy. Wait, you've only seen one of them, Choppy Girl. Which one have you seen? That's the question. She's only seen one. Now I'm curious. I want to know which one she's seen.
A single Star Wars.
She's seen a Star Wars.
Let's go see a Star Wars.
She's building this up. She said the one where. Oh, hello, Toby. Phantom is good, but it should have been the start of Attack of the Clones. It had solid setup. He said B. The race with those funky flying cars. So Phantom
All
Menace.
right, Phantom Menace.
So she saw the pod race.
And she would have been like
I have a pod racing
a
helmet.
baby.
It's funny because pod racing was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
It's my dad's favorite part of the movie.
I love the lightsaber battle. The triple threat. The triple threat match, it's so good. Well, okay.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like non-combat wise.
Yeah. It's all right, it's technically a 2-on-1 handicap match. Technically, but they race.
Yeah, not even a tag on one. It was 2-on-1.
She remembers the pod. But you know what? That's good. You remember the pod race because to steal a line from Clerks Animated, objection, Your Honor. The pod race was pretty cool.
Ours was pretty cool.
All right, we got to do Attack of the Clones next.
Okay. It's better than Phantom Menace.
I agree. It's better than Phantom Menace.
But does it move up to B or does it move just ahead of it in C? I think it moves up to B.
You think it's B tier?
Well, let's see here because I think the next one's even better. So,
Okay.
does it move ahead of it in C tier?
I think, unpopular opinion, I think it's another C tier movie. I think it's better than episode 1. But at the end of the day, it's not. I don't remember anything from it.
I would put it in C tier, but I'd still put it ahead of Phantom.
All right.
So it's
Like I said, it's either there or behind on B. So that's an agreement.
Hold on. Choppy Girl says there's a funny alien guy that kind of looks like a horse with the butterfly eyes. And he says Hawut or Smith. Oh, no, something. He says Hawut. She's talking about Jar Jar. She's talking about Jar Jar.
How wooed.
The horse with the butterfly eyes. I kind of really like that description.
How wooed.
All right, we come across Revenge of the Sith. Easily the best prequel movie.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Which I think it means it has to move up to B.
So you say B. Behind or in front of Return of the Jedi?
That's the question.
That's the question. Where's Brian Leon when we need him? This is his all-time favorite movie. Full stop.
What?
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, all-time favorite movie. Full stop is Revenge of the Sith. He said that before.
That was one of the first movies I saw after we moved to North Carolina.
Can I say, this is my S tier for the prequels?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
I mean, this is my top of the prequels, but I don't think it enters A.
I like if we're doing an S tier for at least one of all the trilogies, this is my S tier, and I personally, I look forward to actually seeing this movie.
Yeah, I do too. It's good. It's so good. And like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was kind of burned on the first two, so I thought General Grievous was going to be annoying. But now when I go back and watch it, I actually really like him. So, and the opening battle's really good. It's the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. Is the final confrontation? No, that's not a stupid question, Choppy Girl. She wants to know what a Sith is. Okay, so in the world of Star, all right, do you know what a Jedi is? Let me. If you know what a Jedi is, this will be easier. Do you understand what the Jedi are? This will help the explanation.
Because if you want to break it down further, Sith was an actual race of people at one point.
Yeah.
You fucking nerds. You fucking nerds. What the hell did she just say? I know the fun bananery knife on a stick, but I don't think that's the same thing.
Fun bananery knife on a stick.
Is there another thing called a Jedi that's an actual thing that we don't understand?
This is Choppy Girl. There could be a lot of things going on here.
What's the
British idiom for Jedi? I have no idea. Okay, so to simplify it, Sith are the bad guy versions of Jedi, basically. In the simplest
Like,
possible
if they were
explanation.
a coin and Jedi is the heads, then
They're the
Sith are
tails. Yeah. But the whole concept of Star Wars is it's a good and evil story, good and evil balance out kind of thing. Toby says Sith are bad guys in quotes. Jedi are such pacifists that they let the bad happen. That's also true. You know why you've got Sith? Because you're not exterminating them.
You want Sith? That's how you get Sith.
That's how you get Sith. All right. So, Dan, Revenge of the Sith, where are you putting it?
I'm putting it B.
You're putting it B.
And I don't care if it goes before or after Jedi.
Okay. Well, we have to average this with all three of our opinions. On my personal list, Revenge of the Sith is something I actually enjoy watching more than A New Hope.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for beginnings, though. So, like,
No, I know what you're saying.
It's one of those things where, like, since we've watched the original 3 so much,
yeah,
that when episode 3 actually did land, it hit hard.
And it bridges everything so well.
I mean, I had a friend in college who literally had a list on his computer, a document, a list of things that canonically had to happen in that movie.
Yeah. I think my only actual real gripe about how they ended up doing Revenge of the Sith was the fact that Padme dies during childbirth and like Leia has memories of her. And I know that's kind of them more trapping themselves as a writer.
Maybe that's a Jedi power she has,
Maybe.
along with knowing where her brother is and being able to fly through space when she should be dead.
Choppy Girl says the Sith are Jedi that woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm accepting that as a canon storytelling for what a Sith Lord is. One day, Count Dooku woke up on the wrong side of the bed and was like, you know what? Fuck the Jedi.
I only have one side of the bed to get out on. The other side's against the wall.
Alrighty, so Dan says B. I said A.
Sounds like you say A.
So Eric, you're gonna be the tiebreaker.
This is my A.
This is an A. Okay. So I will do a compromise here. I will A tier it, but after A New Hope.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That's a good average place for where we all said it would go.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch it without knowing A New Hope, it doesn't make any sense, and it's like B tier.
Sure. And it's not without its flaws too. It's got the no, which I'm not a fan of, which they actually in the Blu-ray they lessened it a little bit because they knew it was pretty bad. But
do you want to go in story order again now, or do we want to go sequel trilogy first?
Let's do the spin-offs at the end.
Okay.
All right. So
Force Awakens.
Well, if we're gonna S tier by trilogy, does anybody disagree that Force Awakens is the
Force
best?
Force Awakens is the S tier of that trilogy.
Absolutely, it is. There's
absolutely
not even a competition. Not even a competition.
And I would put it either at the end of A or at the start of B.
Now she wants to know if Jedi sleep in beds or do they have fancy shit.
I mean, it's the past in a galaxy far, far away. So yes,
they do have Tempur-Pedic mattresses back.
They have fancy beds.
There is. I mean, Anakin wakes up from a nightmare in a bed. It looks like a regular ass bed to me. So
Padme has a fancy apartment, but it has a bed.
Yeah.
Or do they just all sleep in Kolto tanks?
Okay, is that...
I know you said Padme, but I heard Aunt May, and I was just like, why are we talking about Spider-Man?
Because you want a bed with the modern Aunt May, don't you?
Oh,
she's dead.
Every night.
Yeah, she goes, oh my god, do they have duvets and shit? She would thrive in Star Wars. What do you think Choppy Girl would be in the Star Wars universe? I bet she'd be a bounty hunter. She'd be
shopkeeper, bar
no,
attendant.
she'd be at the cantina.
Yeah.
She'd be at
Senator
the
from
cantina
who?
getting drunk off the blue milk.
Listening to Jizz.
Yes. Choppy Girl. In the Star Wars universe, their version of jazz music is called jizz. And I'm not making that up.
The Modal Nodes are one of the best bands, one of the best jizz bands in the universe.
They're the best jizz band in the universe, and I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but now that she knows that they drink in Star Wars, she knows she would thrive.
The blue milk, yeah.
All right.
Again, out of all those,
yeah, this is
that's
the
the one I
best
get
one.
excited to see.
It's the best one.
It's the best one.
And we've discussed this on previous podcasts and stuff, but just to roll it in as a summary, the only reason the sequel trilogy wasn't good was because there was no actual direction on where it was going to end and how they were going to get there. They figured it out as they went along the way, and that's why it feels so disconnected.
With 2 different directors over 3 films.
And it was supposed to be 3 different directors. It was supposed to be Gareth Edwards was going to do the last one. I just finished my Dr. Pepper. I'm sad now.
I'm going to put my vote on A.
Because, okay.
I mean, it's still an S-tier movie. But, like...
I hear your cat, by the way.
Yeah, she's meowing at the door trying to get in. Maybe I should open it.
Make your point and then let her in.
You know what? Actually, I'll say it's an S-tier movie. I'll put it in there. Out of all the movies, I'm trying to think of, like... If I saw it on TV... most of these movies, I'm like, oh, cool, and I'll have it on the background. But there's certain movies where I'll be like, oh, I guess this is what I'm doing today.
Like if you find Back to the Future, I know you're not paying attention to anything else.
Yeah. While some of these movies could just be background music, like background noise.
Right. Now, I would not, again, because in my own personal list, Jedi goes above A New Hope, and so does Revenge of the Sith. New Hope's actually my 4th place movie. But we're doing this as an average. Force Awakens wouldn't go above any of those. It would actually be 5th. Well, okay, there is one we haven't talked about yet. But, that said, I don't know if I could justifiably put Force Awakens above Return of the Jedi. Because as much as I like it, I can't rank it above an original trilogy. Revenge of the Sith was special in that regard, but I can't do it for Force Awakens. So to me, it's going to be the B tier behind Jedi. But I'm not taking anything away from what Force Awakens was. I was very excited to see it in the theater. And I was pretty sus that Han was going to eat it. Because I'd heard rumors on the internet, and then I remember... Not only did I remember reading that that's how he wanted the character to go in Return of the Jedi... But then I was like, he's really into the promotional stuff for this movie. He's really all over the place. I wonder if that's because he doesn't have to promote the next 2 movies. And I was right. So to me, it's B tier behind Jedi. Eric obviously wants it higher. So that leaves...
I mean, I think it's and as far as like movies go, it's an A tier movie. It's an S tier for those trilogies, but it's really good storytelling. Had like phenomenal comedy scenes.
BB-8 is awesome. I love. Well,
yeah. BB-8 does the thumbs up with his
lighter. I love that.
When Poe and Kylo like meet in the beginning. Dude, the whole movie is fucking great. It's just A tier storytelling, and it could have been so much better. It would have ranked higher had the other 2 movies been good.
Yeah, exactly. Force Awakens is held down by the rest of the trilogy. I've always wanted to do this, and maybe now that he survived his massive heart attack, he might be more open to doing stuff. But I always wanted to do my dad reviewing movies as like a segment, because they'll be like 3-minute videos. But his review of Force Awakens goes like this. There's a girl, and she runs around a lot. Oh, and there's a black guy, and he runs around too. That was my father's review of The Force Awakens, ladies and gentlemen. Now that is an S tier review. But don't ask him to review Lord of the Rings, because if you're a fan, you won't like what he has to say. Him and my sister. Oh, they are not fans. They are not fans. All right. So, where do we put Force Awakens? Dan, you're going to be the...
Well, I said B or A, right? So end of so he said after Jedi, and he wants an A, and I still think it's like a B. So I guess
we could
to average out ahead of Jedi, but still in B.
B before Jedi.
I think that would be an average.
I believe you're right. I would agree with that. How are we feeling about that placement, Eric?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, cool. All right, who's ready to talk about The Last Jedi? So, let me say this first. I don't hate The Last Jedi, and I also don't hate Rise of Skywalker. As movies.
But do I like them?
But do I like them? No. And I will immediately tell you that this is going to go below Phantom for me. Now, I'm still willing to put this in the C tier, but I would put it behind Phantom because I just don't think they made good decisions in this movie. I think that and I know there's going to be a whole thing with like, oh, well, people just don't like it because it goes against their fan fiction. No, I wouldn't have done a lot of the decisions they made for a lot of these characters. The best decisions that they made were all Leia's decisions. They literally took her out of the movie because they knew that she wouldn't that all the shit that went down wouldn't have happened under her watch. So they had to find a way to take her out. And just I really just wasn't that high on The Last Jedi. So, but it has its moments. Like, I do admit I do giggle at Kylo making all the weapons fire on Luke and just screaming, and then the friggin' Ginger just looks at him and goes, "Do you think you got him?" With that heavy sarcasm. That always makes me laugh. Choppy Girl is not surprised that there was Star Wars fan fiction. Yeah, no, trust me, it's out there. Oh, it's out there. So for me, Last Jedi is a C tier movie, and it goes behind the others. Who wants to weigh in next?
Agreed.
Oh, okay. Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, D tier.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker's D tier.
Can we make an F?
I mean, I can. I can edit this and make it whatever I want it to be. So,
because I feel like it deserves F. I really do, and it's just like, oh man, it's not even the whole Emperor like Palpatine thing. Having him come back would have been whatever, or like I just don't like the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like it could have been like Rey's the new like strongest Force user, and they figured it out, and they're trying to clone a body for the Emperor or some stupid shit. You know, and I would have been like, okay, but like how they went about it was just bad.
They should have written out all three movies before they did anything with them. And this is the proof right here. Because they had no idea how they were going to end it and how they were going to get to it.
I just remember when I watched it, I'm literally watching the opening where they talk about how, oh, suddenly a secret signal was sent from this one planet, but no one could tell where its origin was, or who it was, or what the message was. And so there was a mad dash to finally find out where it came from and what it meant. And then I'm just like, this sounds like a better movie than this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, did you ever read the original treatment for what it was going to be? I can't remember all the details, but everything about it was better. Literally everything. It's like they
Kylo Ren won the race because he had better, more more money and things to his disposal, and it was Palpatine. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, there were so many better stuff, and God forbid that Finn and Poe could possibly be in a gay relationship. So we better make it so that Poe's got a girlfriend,
and that Finn might have one.
And that Finn might have one. Yeah, seriously. Hey. Hey.
I mean, let's just keep Rey, we see her twice, but, No, sorry, Rose. We see Rose, twice.
Yeah, because there was fan backlash against her. So instead of revamping the character, or at least giving her a role and consciously trying to give her something in the movie so that there couldn't be backlash, they're just like, oh, they didn't like her, we should reduce the role. I hate shit like that. So yeah.
I liked Rose, by the way.
I did too. I liked Rose.
Her introduction rules.
She just tases him. That's the best introduction to a character in anything Star Wars, is she just freaking tases him.
Because she thinks he's going to abandon.
She thinks he's going to abandon the Resistance. Because her sister died, say in the previous battle. So yeah, no, it's great. Oh, and that is one thing that I always did find funny, was they gave in Last Jedi, right at the beginning of the movie, when he's just like, if anybody sees the general, please tell him I have a message for him. It's about his mother. I'm like, they really put it. I'm like, man, they put a Your Mama joke in a Star Wars movie, but they gave it to Poe, and that's the only character who could have pulled it off. Nobody else could have gotten away with a Your Mama joke in Star Wars, but Poe did. Alrighty, so we've got the 2 spin-offs. We want to talk about the good one or the meh one?
I mean, in order of them coming out.
Yes, that's true, but we did. But I also know that the good one is something that I know you would enjoy chatting about. So
all right, then let's do the meh.
All right,
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, didn't hate it, didn't love it.
Yep. Yeah. Where they pretty much just show you everything we knew about the backstory of Han Solo. Absolutely everything.
Yeah. Which is fine, because it was fun to watch. But yes, there are tasers in Star Wars, Choppy Girl. I think she's more of all the things she's excited about. She's excited about beds and tasers in Star Wars. This is amazing. And alcohol. And alcohol.
This was a better movie for Lando than it was Han.
Yeah, no, I actually really liked Donald Glover as Lando.
Yeah, he steals the show.
Yeah.
Well, word is they had to stop making the movie to teach that kid how to fucking act.
Yeah. Yeah. So it didn't anger me the way Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker did. But
well, you know why? And I feel like it's because they tried something new.
Yeah.
This wasn't a continuation or a story. This was like facts that we already know.
Yeah.
Or that we should know.
Actually,
and now we're getting it in visual form, and they're just trying something. Like they tried something new.
And you know what? And you know what? My only real complaint is they should have left it as a TV show instead of a movie, because it probably would have been better if they did a 1-season show out of it, because you could tell they wanted to expand on some of their ideas, and they did kind of push it in. Yes, Childish Gambino is in Star Wars, Choppy Girl. She is loving this.
Yeah, he's young Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, he's young Lando Calrissian, and Daenerys is in it.
Yes, and there's here's a new character. Please like her, because at the end of the movie, we want you to feel bad for her. But it's just like, yeah, if it was a TV show, I might have actually felt bad for her.
In fact, the only thing that I really disliked about Solo was that great teaser at the end with Darth Maul that went nowhere.
See, I had heard that there was, at the end, someone shows up. I thought it was going to be Obi-Wan. So the entire movie, I'm waiting for Obi-Wan to show up, and then it was Darth Maul. I was like, oh shit!
Yeah, no, that threw me off too. I definitely
That was when Darth Maul was a crime lord for that period of time.
So I will put Solo in the C tier. I'm just not sure where I want to put it.
I gotta put it ahead of. Well, yeah, I gotta put it ahead of Last Jedi.
Okay. But does it go ahead of any of the prequels?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think so either. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement.
All right. That
All
just
right,
leaves.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Well, do you want to start, Dan? Because you've.
This is my number one Star Wars movie.
Yes, this is my fucking S tier. I think it's better than Empire Strikes Back.
Well, goddamn, sons.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I feel like Chris doesn't feel as strongly, so I think it's going to be S tier behind it now.
I would put it S tier behind Empire, but I can't. Let's just put it in there for the time being. I can't disagree that it's not the S tier Star Wars movie. It is everything you would want a Star Wars movie to be without Jedis, right?
Yes.
Right? Like that's the thing.
It's the one Star Wars movie that is complete in its storytelling.
Yes, I'll agree with that. It will help to have knowledge of the other Star Wars movies, obviously, but I feel like you can watch Rogue One as a standalone and still have a good time with it. So.
Also, Donnie Yen as the blind monk, and then of course, Alan Tudyk as the robot.
Oh my god! Best. Did you know that wasn't me? And you know what? Do you notice that the two movies with the most depressing endings are the S tiers? And Revenge of the Sith is right there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but Rogue One is a great.
Holy shit. You know, I remember thinking, for chronological order, like, A Force Awakens came out before Rogue One. I saw A Force Awakens. I saw Kylo stop a fucking, like, plasma laser gun bullet in midair and drags and talks to Poe. And I'm thinking, holy shit, he is, like, a really strong Force user. He's, like, fucking better than Vader. And then I saw this movie, and I was like, Kylo's a little bitch.
The hallway scene?
The hallway scene had me scared watching it.
It's a straight up horror
scene.
Fuck. It's a straight up horror scene. No, it is. It's a friggin' horror movie.
If I had to be... listen, I'm just saying, if I was in a hallway, my two options were Vader or the Xenomorph. Fuck me, dude. I might pick the Xenomorph. I could run in a hallway at least, but I'm done with, like, Vader just, like, he walked. He didn't use his...
Because the Xenomorph has to chase you down. Vader just sticks his hand out and you're done running. You're done. Oh my god, it's so good.
And then, it was just, all you heard was, and then that lightsaber come on, and I was like, oh, and shit got real.
He forces a guy up into the ceiling and then just lightsaber chops him.
That
all over a floppy disk, by the way.
That one scene to me was better than the rest of the fucking prequels. Just that scene. Just that scene.
It's an intense scene, yeah.
Oh man, and then you just like here's what the movie did absolutely great. Like, you knew that they weren't going to make it off this planet, right?
Yeah.
But they did everything fucking possible, and you forget get.
Yeah. Yeah. you you kind of start realizing it when they start picking a couple of them off. And you're like, I remember literally thinking to myself, "Oh no, none of them are making it out of this." And yeah, no, you're right. So, okay, so both of you want it to be the top movie.
Because it is.
Okay. But if I'm actually doing a full-on Star Wars ranking, it would probably be third or fourth on my list, personally. But that's not a slight against it because holy shit. Like, that's not a slight against it at all. At all. So, but you two are kind of outvoting me on this one, so I think Rogue One wins Star Wars. Rogue One has won Star Wars.
I mean, it literally is what started off.
More like Rogue One, a Star Wars masterpiece. Am I right? Oh, I'm sorry, Choppy Girl. I missed this in the chat. She wanted to know if Darth Maul is the guy with the piercing.
What? I mean, he eventually gets pierced a few times.
He has an ear piercing in it when we see him the first time.
Not like Eric's answer better.
Well, he gets pierced once in the fight.
Oh, in the movies, and then now we got Clone Wars. Doesn't he get like
Alright.
spider legs at some point? It's some weird shit.
Yeah, he does. And how fitting that Obi-Wan actually does finish him off in the end. All right, so our final vote is your S tier Star Wars movies are Rogue One and Empire Strikes Back. Your A tier is the original Star Wars as well as Revenge of the Sith. Your B tier is The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi. Your C tier has the most activity with episodes 1 and 2 as well as Solo and The Last Jedi. And at the very bottom is the movie that came last.
In D tier for dog shit.
And Eric wanted me to add an F tier just for The Rise of Skywalker. All right, well there you go. What do you think? That's our that's our tier.
Yeah, I think it is good. I only wanted you to add F because I honestly thought Last Jedi could probably go in D.